Time is now, according to my computer, 6:32, and the June 20th, 2024 meeting of the Development Review Board for the City of Winooski has been called to order. The DRB is a quasi-judicial volunteer resident board that upholds standards and procedures as defined in the Winooski zoning ordinance. We review and make decisions on subdivisions, site plans, conditional uses, variances, and appeals of the zoning administrator's determinations. The DRB has authority through Vermont state statute and ensures due process, protects the rights of applicants and the rights of the public to participate in proposals for land development within the city. Appeals of decisions made by this board are heard by the Vermont Superior Court Environmental Division and the Vermont Supreme Court. My name is Matt Basowitz. I am the chair of the DRB. Harlan Miller is our vice chair. Elsie Goodrich is our secretary. Our current members are Aaron Guyette, David Weisberger, Jordan Matz, and Emily Morse. Aaron and Jordan, I believe, are not here tonight. Votes and recommendations are always cast in closed deliberative session that will take place as shortly after this hearing takes place as possible. We will ask anyone participating in tonight's hearings to swear or affirm that all testimony is entirely the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury. We will ask you to say, "I affirm," before testifying. Online Zoom participants will be asked to testify after all in-person testimony is complete. Next up on our agenda is entertaining changes to our current agenda. If you would like to suggest a change to our agenda tonight, please let us know now.
No changes are suggested.
Okay. Just a heads up, I cannot see anything in the room right now, so
well, let's
I don't know.
Take care of that then.
Oh, okay. I just realized you can see me, I cannot see you. Vermont public state statute allows for public comment at every public meeting. If you have something that you would like to discuss that is not already on our current agenda, this is your opportunity.
So we have the applicant's representative in the room. There's a person online. Jackson, if you want to do any public comment for items not on tonight's agenda, you can use the raise hand feature. Otherwise, we can recognize you during the public hearing.
Perfect. Next on our agenda, hearing no other public comments, is to approve our previous meeting's minutes, which I believe were back in March. I can't believe it's been that long.
Yes, March 21st.
Yeah. Yes, so I did kind of flip through them. I didn't see anything that stood out, but if anybody else would like to make changes, please make that suggestion now. Otherwise, I will entertain a motion to approve our previous meeting minutes.
I was not present, so I will abstain.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting, March meeting.
Okay.
I'll second.
Emily seconds. David makes the motion. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
All those not in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye or raise your hand, or say nay or raise your hand. Nothing, and abstention sounds like Harlan is our abstention.
Thank you.
So that does pass. Minutes are approved. Next on our agenda is our substantive item, which is a public hearing on a conditional use request at 215 Weaver Street. We will first invite the applicant and the applicant's representatives to come up and speak and give us a little background on the project. Then we will invite members in the room, members on Zoom to voice their concerns, support, whatever as well. And we ask the applicant and their representatives to please stay nearby so that they can respond to anything that is brought up during other testimony. So at this point, I invite our applicant and their representative to please join us.
So I'll also just do a quick introduction here
Okay.
before we get to that. So this is a conditional use request that's on your agenda. It's for a detached cottage that is listed as a conditional use in our regulations. The reason it's a detached cottage, it's very similar to an accessory dwelling unit, with the difference being that the property is either developed with more than one unit and or the owner of the property does not live on site. So if it was a single unit dwelling and the owner lived there, this would be an administrative approval through our accessory dwelling unit process. Because those aren't the situations, it comes forward to you all as a conditional use. There's some slight differences with the sizes of what we currently allow for a detached cottage versus an accessory dwelling unit. But generally speaking, they're the same land use, just they go through different processes and are called different things. So the applicant, the owner of the property is not with us tonight, but his representative is here. I have the documents that were submitted online that I can share as necessary. So with that, Jason, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Eric.
If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself as well.
Sure. Jason Barnard, Barnard and Jarvis, licensed designers, surveyors. Well put
Before
together.
we begin, I would just ask that you do swear or affirm that everything you are saying is the truth.
I do.
Thank you so much.
Well put together memo, Eric, on the conditional use. That was well done, very, very nicely spelled out. Relatively simple project in terms of development. The owners of Lions Pride LLC are looking to use an existing 3-bay garage and convert that over to a 1-bedroom accessory dwelling unit. Currently, the property is already improved with 2 units that total 3 bedrooms. The parcel is located at 215 Weaver Street, served by municipal sewer and water. The proposal is to set a separate pump station on the north side of the new cottage building, the one-bedroom accessory dwelling unit, tie into the existing sewer service out near the road, and then let it go by gravity to the existing sewer main. On the flip side of that coin, water will be tied into where the existing structure is and then brought over to where the garage is. So there is water and sewer services currently on site. We have reviewed the pipes going out of the building, reviewed the water service and did calculations going in. It can meet the demand. It will be after the meter, so there'll be 1 meter for the property. Relatively easy connection in terms of what the engineering part, then just having to do a little earthwork to get the pipes over there and set the tank and make the connections. So the good thing about the proposal or with the project is there isn't any new impervious area. The infrastructure is already in place that we're able to use. All the interior, it'll be all interior renovations, so there won't be anything in terms of expansion of the building itself. We do have adequate parking that is shown on the site plan. We did review that with Eric. He worked us through that process. We do have the zoning setbacks on. One thing to note is we did do a field survey, but we didn't do a boundary survey. So we did locate a couple of pins on the southerly property boundary, brought in the tax maps through A&R, dropped the boundaries on, and came up with things that way. It's close. It's not certified with a boundary survey, but in this case, I don't think we need it. There's quite a bit of evidence. So in terms of a project, it's really pretty simple. Like Eric said, most of these are usually administrative amendments, but since it's not an owner-occupied structure and there's already 2 dwelling units on the parcel, it kicks it into conditional use.
And the existing structure is within the 5-foot setback.
It's close. It's a foot or 2 in. But again, it's tax maps.
So Harlan, to that point, just 2 things. One, as was mentioned, this is not a formal boundary survey. So the setbacks that are shown are relative to what was surveyed with the tax maps.
Yes.
The other part of it is because it's an existing structure, we would consider it a pre-existing nonconformity, and it can be used in this manner. It's just if they were planning to make changes or additions, expanding the footprint, for example, that's when we would need to look at a waiver request as well.
So no waiver is needed.
Correct. In this instance, no waiver is needed because the building itself isn't changing, just the use inside of it is.
And the setback is 5 feet.
It's 5
rear
feet.
and side.
Yes, that's
for
correct.
accessory structure.
Yep.
And the purple line that you see, we offset those lines 5 feet, and then I believe it's 10 on the front side, right, Eric?
Yeah, it's a 10-foot setback from the front property, so this is well within well outside of that setback. And it's, again, they're approximate, so it's possible if a formal survey was done, then the building would be out of the setbacks. But in this case, again, because it's an existing structure, we would just consider a pre-existing nonconformity because no changes are being proposed to the structure itself.
Sure,
Or, sorry, to the footprint of the structure.
right.
Did you say this is a one-story or a two-story structure?
It's like a story and a half, right?
It's, for all intents and purposes, I'd say it's a two-story. It's basically a three-bay garage with space above it.
Yeah,
That's gonna be, the space above is going to be converted into the living area.
that's correct.
Okay.
The narrative talks about the exterior stair.
Yep.
Which is not shown on here, but the plan drawing shows looks like an interior stair.
Yeah,
Are
you
the-
wanna pull that up, Eric?
Is this, David, is this what you're referring to?
Yeah, in the upper left corner, it looks
Yeah.
like there's a new stair to be, or maybe
And that'll be a-
existing.
And that'll be the door on the out, but that's not, did it say exterior on the narrative?
Thought there was a picture in the structural
There is an
report of
exterior.
exterior stair on that side.
Okay.
If you go further
In the
down.
pictures, yep, a little further down.
You mean as an existing?
As an existing?
Yeah, and the structural report says, should be good to use it, there you can see it right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoops, yep. Just,
On the side here. So I know there was discussion, I followed up with the fire marshal about the stair situation. I know our fire marshal did do a site visit several months ago to meet with the owner and to talk about the project, and I believe they were going to require the interior stair. It was one of the two. The fire marshal was either going to include the interior stair or require that the exterior stair be updated to make sure that it's proper for fire safety and egress.
This is gonna require a state building permit.
It will, that's
Oh, yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
it was my understanding they were gonna do the interior stair, that was my understanding.
And remind me what cues the state permit being needed?
So this would be considered a public building.
Right.
Is there a plan for installation to meet Vermont Energy Code?
I'd have to run that by the owner, but I believe he is looking to upgrade that.
And that might be something that the state would require. I'm pretty sure they will require some level of fire separation between the garage bays and the living space anyway. So I think that would probably be as part of that state review.
Yeah, usually it's two layers of the 5/8 sheet rock between the garage, but that'll all have to be done to the code.
I was thinking more about getting a continuous insulation layer, which
Yep.
a lot of times that's outboard. So if you're already kind of flirting with the setback, that could be something that puts you even further in
Even further.
noncompliance.
Good,
Yeah, they'll need to meet the state's
RPS.
residential building energy standards for the project. And they'll need to certify that before occupancy will be issued.
Previous use of this building has always been a residential garage, or has there ever been a business or anything operated out of that in the past that we know of?
So personally, I don't know what the historic use of that building was. It looks like, when I looked at it, it looked like a garage with storage above it. There could have been a business there a number of years ago, but I'm not really certain.
Are there any environmental concerns about what may have occurred in that garage or in those bays at any point in time? And is anything being done just to verify that the air quality is going to be safe, there's nothing leaching up out of the ground?
There has not been any testing or any interior or exterior testing in terms of soil or air quality testing in the house, or in the structure. It's pretty much a residential garage with normal, everyday stuff stored in there. I really can't speak to if there's been any environmental issues, any spills or anything like that.
Yeah, that's my primary thing. Were people dumping chemicals down the drain 60 years ago, that kind of thing?
Yeah, nothing that stands out to me when I looked at it. But
Okay.
obviously, we weren't hired to do a phase 1 ESA, so, we put the site plan together and design the water and sewer connections.
Okay.
Do you know where the mechanicals and utilities are proposed to be located?
I believe, I think they're shown on that,
On the site plan?
not on the site plan,
Oh,
but
on
on
the-
his
yeah.
sketch. north. That's the upstairs.
I think this is the only drawing.
Yeah, so the utilities would be, they'd have a panel in the garage portion, and then it would serve the upstairs. In all likelihood, they'd have to have a sub panel upstairs, but I'm not an electrical code guy.
Is the intention to redo the, what are the changes to the outside? Siding being redone, or?
I believe they're gonna end up doing some cosmetic work. I don't know for sure in terms of what, if there's any architectural changes outside, but I know most of the work was focused inside the building.
Could we see the site plan again, Eric?
Yep.
And in terms of the structure, I was, the landowner called me like 2 days ago and said, I'm gonna be in Alaska, so we didn't have much time to, I don't know all of his intentions with the interior stuff. We gave a quick rundown, so.
I mean, that's not really in our scope as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the state will
Yeah.
look at all of that.
We do have to apply for a state water and wastewater permit. So once we're through the DRB process, that's the next step. Everything is submitted and ready to go.
Can you zoom out a little, Eric, and see the houses around it?
Sure.
And is there a fence around the property?
The fence on the whoops, if you can zoom in, you can see the south. There's a partial fence on the south. It's wooded in the back. We did not go over on the adjoining properties to survey in any of the other homes.
Is there a plan for additional trash totes or recycling toters?
There hasn't been. I think they're gonna continue to use the same receptacles that are there.
There's already been a conversation with fire and emergency services regarding the staircase, and do they have any concern about accessing this property at the back?
I can't answer that because I don't know if the landowner has or not.
Eric, do you have the parcel map, or that we can see the other structures?
Yeah.
In terms of access, it's pretty easy to access that particular, it's got a fairly large parking area that you can get in and turn around in. The building will have a man door on the north side of the structure that should be pretty easy to access as well. So I don't believe that's gonna be an access issue with fire and safety.
Are there any changes to exterior lighting proposed?
There's not, no. There may be actually a light to the north, on the north door, that would be down shielded. One light.
Double lot.
It's a big lot.
I don't have any more questions.
Okay. I just a little bit of clarification, very quickly, going back to the stair question. You said with the plan to use internal stairs, that means the existing external on the north side would be demolished?
I believe so, but I would have to ask the landowner. I believe those are supposed to come out.
And I think, Matt, that's also gonna be a decision of the fire marshal, if they will allow for an internal staircase, or if they'll be required to keep it external.
So-
Okay.
So a question for, obviously, Eric and the rest of the board members, is that, with the fire marshal's approval, since those stairs are already there, do they have the option to maintain if those do meet fire code from the exterior? I mean, it would be essentially an easier access, in my opinion, if those stairs were on the north side of that structure, if they could maintain those. That'd mean one less door to go through
You mean instead of the inside stair?
instead of the inside.
Yeah, we can't make that call
Yeah,
it. That's
yeah, I
not
don't
for
think
us to
that's in our
decide.
purview,
Yeah.
right?
The state, it's a life safety issue. Is it a shed in the upper right corner?
It is. It's another outbuilding. It is fairly decent size, but we did label it as a shed. And then there's a smaller shed right in front of that one as well.
It's a little baby, yeah. So you can have the main structure, an accessory structure, and your 10 by 10 foot freebie thing, or is this because it's pre-existing?
So the order of operation there would be, you can have one accessory structure. If you have no other accessory structures, you can have one that's up to 100 square feet without needing a permit. You can have as many accessory structures as you want. You'll need to get them all permitted, provided that you don't exceed the maximum lot coverage.
Got it.
Which we did those, we're under that, so.
I think no more questions from me either.
I have no more questions.
Okay, if there are no more questions for the board, Jason is your name, right?
Yes.
I have that, thank you so much. Jason's, stick around, because we may call you back up, but at this point, I would like to open to anybody else that's in the room that would like to speak on this project.
We do have an adjacent property owner in the room. Yep, come on up. Please state your name for the record.
It's very bizarre being on this side of the table.
Welcome back to City Hall.
Thank you. My name's Jessie Baker. I live at 203 Weaver Street, so the property directly to the south. So I'm that 5-foot abutter. I think this is a great project. This is exactly the kind of infill housing we need in the community. It's keeping the same footprint. It's creating more vibrancy in the neighborhood. It's a space that's been used as a garage for a variety of appropriate, but I'm guessing louder uses than this would be. So I just wanted to say, as a YIMBY person, not a NIMBY person, I am very much in favor of this project, and thank you for your review. And thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you so much, Jesse.
That doesn't happen very often.
I wish all the public comments were like that.
I could drag her to a lot of meetings.
Okay, and is there anybody else here that would like to speak?
Not in the room. We do have a person online. Jackson, if you're interested in providing any comments, please use the raise hand feature and we can recognize you. Otherwise, you're welcome to.
Jackson works for me.
Oh,
And he's learning.
okay.
So he was, he's observing.
Perfect.
But if he wants to ask a question, feel free. He actually drafts it up in that, so.
I missed all of that, I'm so sorry.
There's no other public comments.
Okay,
I'll simplify it.
okay, thank you. And hearing no other public comments, do we have any more questions for Jason before we move on?
No.
No? Okay, Jason, thank you so much. Jesse, thank you so much. And we will move on our agenda. But I believe we have to vote to close. Is that to close this hearing? Are we doing that?
We can.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to close this hearing, the conditional use request at 215 Weaver Street.
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor of closing this hearing, please raise your hand or say aye. That appears to pass unanimously.
Sorry, who seconded that? Was it?
I did.
Else.
You did, okay. That's what I thought. Excuse me.
Next on our agenda is city updates. Eric, do you have anything for us?
I don't have anything specific for you all unless you have questions for me about anything. Oh, we do have our city manager in the room here, Elaine Wong. She would like to provide some updates.
If I may, Chair. Hi, I'm a little embarrassed that I haven't been before. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
So I'm here, I thought I'd give an update on what's happening with Eric's position. So we did interview our second of 2 candidates today, and we're hoping to do a panel interview tomorrow. And I've been nudging Matt, and now I can see why he hasn't been responding.
I
So-
saw your emails this afternoon. I'm like, oh my God, I got to reach out. So I will, when I get back up next week, we'll chat.
Okay, well, it's a little bit out of order, but I'll just pose the question, you can tell me after you're done with your meeting. If any of you would be interested in participating in the interviews tomorrow, they're from 2 to 4:15. So if you have that block available, please let me know.
I actually do, so I will reach out
Oh,
tomorrow.
okay, very good. Yeah, we've got 3 folks from the Planning Commission joining that, so, and I'll be observing, but not asking questions. We'll provide the questions in advance. So that's what's happening with that position. There is still a possibility of overlap, believe it or not, even though this has taken a little bit, so that's good news in terms of setting this up to be a smooth transition. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to let me know.
No, thank you for coming to the meeting. It's nice to meet you, and thank you for your diligence. Eric said there are a couple of qualified candidates, so that's exciting.
Yes.
If they can change their name to Eric, that will lessen our trauma.
He has left very extensive documentation, as I'm sure not surprising to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Elaine. Any other updates?
Again, I have nothing specific unless there's anything you all have for me. And so, just so you all are aware, the reason I just ran out of the room, I forgot to give the applicant the exhibit list. So I did provide that to him, so they do have the record of what will be included in this matter for this evening.
Okay, thank you. Next on our agenda, other business. Eric, do you have any other business for us?
Yeah, the only thing I have is that if a hearing should be needed and there is things are in place, the next meeting for you all would be on July 18th. So that'll be the 3rd Thursday in July, as per our standard schedule. I will also say the City Council, I reached out to some of you that have appointments that are expiring at the end of June. City Council looked at reappointing boards and commissions at their meeting on Monday night. They did, however, not reappoint any members of the DRB, not because they do not trust you or think you're doing a bad job. The reason they chose not to do that is because we have a full complement of members, both full members and alternates, and we did have one application come in. So council wanted to take some time to evaluate the applicant to see if they're bringing a new skill set to the board that doesn't already exist. That's, again, not to say that any of you are unqualified or that they're concerned with the decisions you're making or the work that you're doing. They just wanted to review this application and see if that would be something that they want to entertain as far as requesting that potentially one of you all may not want to serve anymore if you're getting to that point, but should not be taken as anything other than council doing their due diligence.
Okay, thank you. Is this your final meeting with us, Eric?
This will be my final meeting with you all, yes. Well, I mean, deliberative session next, but if we're doing that.
Right,
but
right.
for as far as
Right.
public meetings with you, yes.
Well, I would just like to have it while we're still together. I would just like to thank you and have that on the record, thanking you for everything you've done for the city and for this board in the several years we've been working together.
Well, thank you very much. It has been a pleasure to work with you all and continue these meetings. So thanks for participating.
Seconded.
Okay, the last agenda item is to adjourn. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. This meeting is over. Tonight, I'm assuming, is good for deliberative session for everybody?
Yeah,
Yes,
Yep,
please.
it appears that way.
that's quick.
Okay.
So.